You know, I was gonna start recording this post-game video like 2 minutes before the game actually ended, but I'm glad that I waited because we finally saw something that we've all been waiting to see. And that, of course, is Isaiah Stevens minutes, man. Shout out to him. Came in for the last 2 minutes of the game. Didn't score, meaning he scored as many points as Terry Rozier did today. But he did get a steal, so it was nice to see Isaiah Stevens get his first actual minutes of NBA game time. Of course, he came in with Kashad Johnson and Josh Christopher, but both of those guys played a handful of NBA games this year. And obviously, Josh Christopher, former first-round pick. But shout out to Isaiah Stevens, man. That was probably my favorite part of the game. Of course, you had Tyler Herro go off. Pelle Larsson was phenomenal in his start today because, of course, you had no Andrew Wiggins because as good as Wiggins has been here, he doesn't play basketball. And I'm sorry, am I wrong to be frustrated about that? Because I put out a tweet a couple weeks ago when Wiggins got hurt like the second time. This is already like his third time missing games. I said that the Andrew Wiggins trade is slowly becoming as bad as the Terry Rozier trade. Obviously, that's a joke. People didn't like that I tweeted that, but you traded Jim because he couldn't stay healthy. And now Andrew Wiggins has only played like 50% of the games that he's been here. I was just a little annoyed, that's all. But that's probably the last negative thing that I'll say in this video because this was a fun game. The Heat took care of business. I will say, though, that I do feel like a fool for watching Miami Heat basketball during March Madness because I missed that on that Florida game. Now, obviously, I'm a University of Miami fan, so screw Florida for life. But I seen the highlights of that game, and my God, that was crazy. If y'all didn't see the highlights, go watch it after this video. Don't mess up my retention time. But if you do, subscribe before you head out at least. I do appreciate the support. But yeah, the ending of that game was insane. I think Florida went on like a 9-0 run in the final minutes to tie the game. They had this kid, Walter Clayton Jr., just absolutely spazzing out there. He was going berserk, and that looked like just a sensational game. And then shortly after that, the Duke game tipped off. And of course, I had to tune in because, one, I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice and watch Heat basketball over phenomenal March Madness games. But two, I had to keep an eye on the Heat's future starting small forward next year in Cooper Flagg. And so far, Duke is up 10 at Alabama at the time of this recording. But yeah, so I got that on here. But let's go through this post-game video where it could have been the game today versus 76ers. It could have kind of been a March Madness game, if you think about it, in terms of Philadelphia starting a bunch of guys who just came out of college and you never heard of half of them. I mean, seriously, listen to the lineup that the 76ers started today. Justin Edwards, Gerson Yabusele, Adam Bona, who played really well, actually. I actually liked him coming into the draft this past season. He dropped 16 and 10 today. He's a good player. But Quentin Grimes, who the Heat held to 15, because that guy, he's turned into Michael Jordan over the last month, too. But then they had Jared Butler, who played pretty well, too. 19 points, 10 assists. The best Jay Butler in the NBA? Nah, definitely not. We won't disrespect Jimmy around here, even though it's been like a month since Jimmy's got traded, and still in every video I get a comment telling people telling me to take the jersey down back there. I will never do it, but keep leaving the comments because it helps the algorithm. But that was the 76ers starting lineup. Terrible. And then off the bench, they had Ricky Council, who I actually like a lot too, but Jalen Hood-Schifino, our guy Lonnie Walker, speaking of the Hurricanes, and then a guy named Marcus Bagley. Not Marvin Bagley, Marcus Bagley. That's the rotation that the 76ers put out today. The Heat had to dominate them, and they absolutely did. I think it was like a 9-point game at halftime, but the Heat really took over in that third quarter and never really looked back. I interrupt this video to tell y'all about something that you're definitely going to want to hear about, because let's be honest, things aren't so great with the Miami Heat right now, but that's okay because March Madness is here, and every game is a chance to cash in. And y'all know I'm locked in, so I got to dabble a little bit in the sports betting, so what better way to do that than with MyBookie's Bet and Get program, where when you bet on a March Madness game, you get a surprise reward. That could be cash back, bonus chips, free bets. You never know what's coming next. And as Heat fans, y'all should be locked in too, because truthfully, we're probably going to have a very high draft pick, but I'm good with that because Cooper Flagg, VJ Edgecombe, all the top prospects are looking amazing. So make sure y'all get in on the action with MyBookie and sign up using promo code MM50. That's MM50. And that will allow you to boost your bankroll with a deposit bonus to make sure you get the most out of your money. And if you don't want the deposit bonus, that's okay too. Just make sure to let them know that I sent you. So bet on any game, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Now, let's get back into the video. I guess we'll go through a couple of my notes here. Early on in the first quarter, Khalil Ware continues to make some impressive plays. It's the little things that really make me confident he's going to be a special player in this league, because he had this incredible rebound where he outreached over like 376ers, grabbed the ball, and then did a quick touch pass to a Hayward Highsmith who had leverage inside on a smaller defender. Those little plays might go unnoticed, but he's making them, every so often, and I feel like he could do it more, but obviously that's not Ware's role on this team. His role is not to be a facilitator, but eventually, as he gets more stronger in this league, gets some more tenure, I think he will have a bigger role on this team, and he's showing that he's capable of more things than just catching lobs, hitting the occasional jump shot, and getting rebounds. I really think he's going to be a super special, well-rounded player in this league. Tyler Herro had a putback, like fadeaway at to end the first quarter, and that was a sign of things to come for him because he could not miss all night tonight. That's 3 straight games in a row where the efficiency from Tyler Herro was just ridiculous. Tyler Herro today, 30 points on 11 of 17 shooting. That's like his 3rd straight game shooting 60%. And today he was 5 of 9 from 3. But a lot of where his efficiency has come from over the last few games is he's getting to that floater. And his touch on that shot is ridiculous. Even had a floater in the 3rd quarter. They had to pull up the stat guy to measure how high that shot went up. They said it went up like 28 feet in the air, this floater that Tyler Herro hit. And he probably got fouled. He was mean mugging afterwards. That's just such a great shot to get to, particularly of a guard of his size who's not, 6'6", 6'7". They call it the giant killer. As soon as you split or dribble past the 3-point line, because obviously defenses are going to run out to Tyler Herro, it's kind of easy to blow past them when you're hitting your shots. That's such an impossible shot to guard the floater, because the defense doesn't know if you're going to the rim, if you're going to do a mid-range pull-up, whatever, but that floater gets off so quick, and that's part of the reason that we're seeing Tyler Herro be such an elevated scorer this season compared to last season, is because he's getting to that floater and just hitting it at an incredible rate all season. So I really like to see him get more to that shot. But yeah, he was awesome today. Pelle Larsson had so many plays today. I can't even count them all. Dove on the floor multiple times, had a steal, went coast to coast, had a couple of great blocks just rotating everywhere on defense. He was absolutely a menace. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks, 2 for 2 from 3 today. What did I tell y'all about this man? Every time he plays, what do I tell y'all? If you know, go ahead and pause the video and comment it down below. I'll give you a second. But what I always say about Pelle Larsson in every video where he plays, he is good at a lot of different things with the potential to be great at everything. And you saw that today with him getting a large chunk of minutes, 30 minutes today, got the start, and he literally did everything and did it good. And obviously, he's still a rookie, so there's potential to do it well. As Cooper Flagg cashes the and one mid-range jumper, I'm getting excited. I don't know what to do. The Heat are on a 4-game winning streak, but Cooper Flagg is hooping. I don't know. That's why I say let fate decide, because otherwise I'd go crazy trying to figure it all out myself. But yeah, Pelle Larsson was awesome. With about 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, Terry Rozier checked in. He only played 4 minutes. I know I joked earlier about him not scoring, but he only played 4 minutes. He threw a lob about 5 feet over Khalil Ware's head, and then that was about all he did. He checked out. What was his plus minus though? Because if he was a minus in a game that the Heat won by 23, that'll actually be hilarious. Now, he was a +4. Nobody today was a minus for the Heat, so shout out to Terry Rozier. But Philadelphia ended up cutting our 10-point lead to a 2-point lead with just a couple minutes to go in the first half. But then the Heat got a few buckets to end the first half, and they actually went up 9 at halftime. So Philly did have a few chances there to tie or take the lead, which is not what you want to do against these bad teams. You don't want to let them think they have a chance. So luckily, the Heat kind of put their foot on the pedal to end the first half. Went into that third quarter, never really looked back. There was another great play from Pelle Larsson immediately. He intercepted a pass, was looking like he was going to have a pick six, then dropped a beautiful behind-the-back Magic Johnson dime to Khalil Ware. But then they said that Pelle got fouled on the pass, even though the pass went through. But I wish the ref would have swallowed his whistle there, because that was an incredible play by Pelle Larsson. Would have been all over the highlight reel if the ref didn't blow the play dead. You had Alec Burks, who he's a corner specialist, Hall of Famer. Hit 3 straight threes. I think all 3 were in the corner. At least the last 2 were. Then he had another 3 at the top of the right wing at the buzzer at the end of the 3rd quarter. That put the Heat up 21. And then in the 4th quarter, if Philly had any hope of coming back, Tyler Herro shut that down quick. Oh, he was feeling himself. Took a couple of heat check shots, hit a couple of them, just deep threes. They had another stat where they measured the distance on all of his threes that he hit today, and he hit them at like an average of 27 feet per shot. Keep in mind the 3-point line is only like 22 point something feet, so he hit a lot of deep shots today. And when Tyler's hitting that, he's just absolutely unguardable. But we'll look through the box score real quick here to talk about some of these other guys that we did not address. You got we talked about Pelle Larsson, Bam Adebayo today. Seemed like he had a really quiet game. But he did stuff the stat sheet. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, did shoot 5 of 14. So he did struggle a little bit. There was a lot of bunnies that didn't necessarily fall for him today, but that's fine. Last couple of days, he hasn't been super strong, but they haven't needed him. Khalil Ware today, 13 points, 14 rebounds, continues to be a menace on the boards. Shot 6 of 6 today, 101 from 3. Yeah, he's awesome. Then Alec Burks, 20 points. I hope the Heat can retain him on a minimum contract. I do. Like, I understand him and Duncan Robinson do play a little bit different. Alec Burks is kind of a corner specialist. He doesn't move without the ball as well as Duncan does. I think he's a better defender, not substantially better, but he definitely is a better defender. But Duncan Robinson is such a dynamic player offensively. The way he moves without the ball, set screens, the pick and roll or dribble handoffs with Bam Adebayo. So I'm not taking away credit for Duncan Robinson. But if going into next season, you can find a trade to shed the Duncan Robinson salary of almost $20 million and have Alec Burks fill that role at maybe another vet minimum, maybe slightly more, that's just such great value, you know? I mean, Duncan is 6'8". Like I said, he'll play make a little bit. He probably is a little bit better inside. We've seen Duncan. He's a good finisher at the rim. His efficiency there is very good. But I don't think Alec Burks is getting, what, $3 million this year? And Duncan's getting, what, 19? I don't think Duncan Robinson is $16 million better than Alec Burks. You know what I mean? Obviously, Duncan didn't play today, still going through his back issues, I think it is, which Spoelstra said is actually unrelated to his injuries to end last season, which is good to hear. And I do think Duncan has had a solid year as Duke takes a 9-point lead into halftime. But I do think Duncan Robinson has had a solid year. But I like Burks, man. You can only count maybe bad games he's had this year on one hand, you know? Every time he comes in, he's efficient. He plays within the offense and doesn't mess anything up. And then every now and again, you get a 20-point night, 6 of 12 from 3 like you do from him. World's better than Terry Rozier, too. I don't know what the hell happened there. But yeah, we talked about Tyler Herro. Keep it up, Tyler. It's nice to see him kind of getting out of that prolonged slump that he was in for quite a bit. But off the bench, Haywood Highsmith, 13 and 6. Haywood has had a couple of very strong games of late offensively. Davion Mitchell, 6 points, whatever. But once again, 8 assists. It's become a standard every single video where we're looking at Davion Mitchell's assist numbers and they're just jumping out the box sheet at you. 8 assists tonight to only 3 turnovers. He continues to be that playmaker that none of us really thought he could be. I mean, I know with Toronto, we saw he was averaging almost 5 assists a night, but we never really thought that was his role. We never really thought he can be a true point guard. And while I don't think he is a guy that when hopefully the Heat do get a true point guard this offseason, Davion Mitchell is a guy that can be a great backup behind him. So when you do go to the bench unit, like Davion's been coming off the bench the last couple of weeks, you have someone that can run that offense until you get your starter back in there or whatever. Davion has showed that he's completely capable of running a unit for sections of a game, and I just want to shout that out about him. And then Kyle Anderson today got 6 points in 20 minutes. He continues to be do the little things out there, although he shot 3 of 11 tonight. But yeah, outside of that, you got the couple of young kids in garbage time, and then 4 minutes for Terry Rozier, which is crazy. No Duncan Robinson, no Andrew Wiggins, and Terry Rozier can only make 4 points. You love to see it. But as far as your tanking update, because I did post a video yesterday kind of giving a tanking update on the standings and reacting to Cooper Flagg's game in the Sweet 16 where he dropped a 30 bomb. But the Chicago Bulls are currently down 6 to the Dallas Mavericks. And I guess the Mavericks, they've been playing better since Anthony Davis came back. That's what I was just checking. Anthony Davis tonight, 15 points in 20 minutes so far. So they've been playing a little bit better. But as far as the standings, the Heat are still 1 game back of the Bulls. But yeah, like I was saying in that video too, if you're going to play your guys like the Heat have been, just try to win, be competitive, because I do want to feel optimistic about these guys going into next season. Because who knows what rookie, what good is it if we get a great rookie but the rest of the team sucks, you know? If you're going to tank, do what Philly's doing. I mean, that team knows how to tank. They started the trust the process and have nothing to show for it. But in terms of putting a terrible product out there, that's what the 76ers have been doing. They suck, my God. There was a whole big thing a couple years ago, if y'all remember. George Sedano said he'd rather be Philly. Hell no. Joel Embiid, all that money for a guy who doesn't play? Paul George just signed him to a 4-year max extension. He's getting paid, what, $50 million until the age of like 36 or 37? That guy don't, in year 1, it's a bust. Now, I do like Tyrese Maxey. I do like Jared McCain. Although I think their fit together is a bit awkward. Two smaller guards. Although I think McCain can play off ball pretty well. But outside of those two, they're screwed. So I would definitely rather be a Miami Heat fan. Although the 76ers pick, they did say it's top 6 protected. So I hope they don't get flagged, because then I would rather be the 76ers. Things can change quickly here. But unfortunately for the rest of the NBA, if their pick falls 7 or worse, it goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So now you're looking at a scenario where maybe next year the Oklahoma City Thunder can get a guy like Jeremiah Fears or this 6'7" center that I'm watching on Duke. I forget his name. Or get Trey Johnson out of Texas, and you're making an OKC team that's already stacked even more stacked, which is terrifying. And OKC gets Miami's unprotected pick next year if the Heat miss the playoffs this year. So I don't know. That team is just so good. Anyways, that's really all I got to say for this video. The Heat do take on the Wizards on Monday. So we did talk about how the Heat have an easier schedule coming up. We're starting to see that come to truth here. But we'll see what happens. Make sure y'all subscribe so you don't miss a video. Like, comment, all this stuff is greatly appreciated. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in the city trying to get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.